So welcome to the full moon meditation in Gemini. And this is a big time as it's been all year. There's a few things I wanted to talk about, but I want to start by just giving one announcement that the winter solstice meditation will be Friday, December 19th at 7:30 like we always do. That will be instead of my class. So that will be a wonderful opportunity. If you haven't done it, I recommend it highly. It's different and it's a once a year thing that we've been doing for some amount of time that's only Cecilia knows. I think it's 15 years. Yes, 15 years. And this will be the 15th or 16th solstice. And it's such a powerful thing. I really recommend it to kind of set the tone for the year, because the winter solstice is the true new year. So it's when we start. And January 1st became it, but the solstice was actually it. And this one is on a new moon on the same day. So it's going to be really powerful. So that's something to look forward to. And I'll be sending out information about that soon. And also, this full moon meditation will be up on YouTube and on SoundCloud tomorrow. So watch for that. The exact time of the full moon is tomorrow at 3:14, I think. Yeah, 3:14. So you can meditate with it again if you want to, because it'll be up by then for sure. And that's in Los Angeles, of course, Pacific time. So I hope you can join us there again. And then this is also a super moon, which just means it's closer. It's a little closer. So it pulls the tides more, right? It's astronomy. And so you'll see, and it also pulls the tides in ourselves, because we are also made of mostly water, just like the Earth is. The Earth is around 70% water, and we're about 70% water. So when you think of that, that's quite something. When you realize that, we're getting the water to water, we feel the pull of the moon, and that is part of why there's such a strong effect on the full moon. But this one is even more because it's a little closer. And how you can know that yourself is it's just bigger. It visually is bigger. So, and I think this is the biggest one of the year, and the last one, obviously, because we're at the end of the year already. And as we're just getting ready to, start to enter into this sacred space of this timing, think about what you want to get out of this, so that there's something on your side too. Like, I offer a lot of information and ideas and things to think about and all of that. But what do you want? And that's maybe even the most important thing. Because what you want, right, is what you can bring, what you'll allow in. It's like the field is open because there's an intention on your side too. So as you're sitting here right now, just think about that. What are you wanting? What are you reaching for right now? Full moons are all about things coming into form, into fruition, into becoming. And so this is a time to look at what you have built in the last month and this whole last year, actually, because we're at the end of the year. And also, what do you intend for tonight, for this full moon, for yourself, or tomorrow if you're watching it then? It's really powerful. So I call this, as you know, I love to title my full moons. It just makes me laugh, and it's fun to me, and it's like a song. It's got a title and there's lyrics, and this song, and the title is At a Crossroads. So that makes me want to show you the chart. So I'm just gonna sort of got inspired by the chart. It did. So here comes the chart. Okay. So you see it? Boom. Crossroads. And it is a great big cross. I put them in dotted lines, the intersection of the grand square that this makes, but it's with the nodes. But that is very soul purposed. And what's happening right now is for the world, for the whole world, right? Because this is everywhere, is we are at a crossroads, and there's no going back. There's only going forward now. And you kind of can't even look back because forward is the direction. And, and it's Gemini Sag, so it's very much about moving forward from that, in that way of Gemini, speaking, thinking, writing, talking, communicating. Sagittarius, the solar sign Sagittarius, it's about truth and honesty and telling the truth to yourself plus the world. What is truth? And that's something to question and wonder about. Sun is conjunct Venus, opposing the moon. This is very powerful about self-realization. And the other kind of there's two more potent things I wanted to just mention, and that is the Grand Trine and water. So it's very emotional. This is an emotional full moon, but it's also a clarifying full moon. And so there's a lot going on of intensity, with this cross that I'm showing you. And then this is the third thing, Uranus opposed Mercury. Mind your words, right? Don't lash out. There's a lot of energy of saying what you feel, sort of like a bullet, but the opportunity is to know how you feel and to get big flashes of insight that are possibly life-changing with this particular aspect. The Sabian symbol for the full moon in Gemini is, hold on, it's there, you can see it, but I can't read that. A conversation by telepathy, which I love that, is interconnectedness. It's the exact opposite of last month's full moon, where it was disconnection, actually. This one is interconnection. Big Grand Trine, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. Very important time. And one more thing that's really important is Neptune's going to change signs into Aries very soon. And it is going to be going direct very soon. Saturn finally is. And it finishes its 165-year orbit. So where it is right now is 29 Pisces, the last degree of the last sign of the zodiac, and then I think it's December 11th, it goes into 0 of Aries. I think it goes into 0, or I think it's in 0 of Aries I'm not sure of that date, so I'm just going to say it in this month. And when it does, this 165-year cycle begins again, right? So this is a time of big changes, world changes, obviously, right? And so it's so powerful, and we're all affected, every single person. And if you have, like I do, planets at 28, 29 Pisces, right, going, or 0 degrees, 1 degrees Aries, you're feeling this like nobody's business. This is a new chapter. But it's a new chapter personally for many of you, but it's also a new chapter for the whole world. And that's, what we're kind of living through right now, is watching these growing pains of the world, of coming to learn, because we are super divided right now. And it can't be like that. We can't go forward divided. Right? That's not going to work, right? We have to come together. We all have to understand the other, the yin and yang, that whole class I taught last month, right? About that the other needs the other. The yin needs the yang needs the yang needs the yin, and there's a dot of the other in the other. And until that happens, we are so off balance right now, right? And so that might be affecting you a lot. It might not be affecting you that much. I don't know many people that aren't affected by this, though, a lot, and especially if you're sensitive or a meditator, right? You are feeling this. And I wrote down a cool quote that I think I wasn't going to have it, but I think I will use it. Let me just see if I can find it. Oh, okay. So this is in regard to the division. When the self is divided, it's impossible to effectively move forward. because it just keeps lurching back and forth and back and forth. So that's my own quote. Quoting me, you can't effectively move forward. We can move, but we're not necessarily moving forward because it's the tug of war that's happening. So that energy is happening. And so the title is At a Crossroads. And then my sub thoughts were, and my kind of the main one is endurance. And then I want to say alignment. Alignment first, right? Not this way alignment, not horizontal, vertical alignment. And then endurance, because we are in the middle of something. We really, really are. And it's going to be a while before this clears and finishes and comes to whatever it's going to come to, this change that's happening, this birth, which I feel is we're going through this tension on this teeter-totter or roller coaster ride because we need to come together. And it has to be seen by, in a way, the common, right? The group needs to see it. It doesn't mean every single being, but it needs to be registered by the whole, by the all. Otherwise, it won't be an effective going forward. So we have to go together through this, and we're all in this together, which is, to me, reassuring. We are all in this together. So it's not that person's problem or that country's problem or that political situation's problem. It is we're all in this together, and we need to understand this together. And when we meditate together, we're unifying, right? From all different kinds of perspectives, from all different places in the world, right? There's all places are in this group, but there's other groups, and those are also representing the spokes of the wheel of light around the world, of consciousness, the light of consciousness. So when we meditate, we're awakening the relationship with the overlighting soul. So whether people know they have a soul or don't know they have a soul, they do. And so it's just, so whether they even have that awareness of it or not, it doesn't really matter because it's just there, right? So even when there's a lot of unconsciousness, let's say, there's still a soul in there. And so as light attracts light, right? And light sort of shines light into the dark, right? Of energy that feels divided, energy that feels separated, people that feel disenfranchised or feel alone. And a lot of meditators and healers feel that way often because they're open. So you're feeling it more than others. So you might feel, intensely affected by this energy or isolated by this energy or whatever you're feeling. Just know that that's all right. It's all right. Like whatever you're sensing and experiencing is correct for you, right? And so that word endurance, because when you're in the middle of something, you can't just stop and get distracted and walk over there. There's a focus at a birth, right? Where everyone is paying attention intensely, and everyone together is paying attention for the birth of this new being. And so that you can give that attention to these times and help by paying attention. And that attention is about just attending the energy. It's not about, you don't need to watch the news all day or anything like that. It's more just noticing the energy and holding, like we always talk about, holding for the highest good. Not on the plane of this, them or us, but up. You keep holding it up, right? So you pull up with your attention. Meditation does that. So that's powerful. At this point, there is no turning back. This is a point of you can only go forward. We're in a new place. We're in a new paradigm of possibility than there's ever been. So it's powerful. And in this particular full moon, what I want you to be open about or kind of feel for is instant lightning inspirations and realizations, personal and global, but personal too. So the question I was asking, like, what can we ask ourselves? What would be helpful to that right now is this question: what needs to be left behind? Like, really needs to be left behind that we're still going, well, but I might need it later. That how we hold things precious, and things are going to be different. And what might we be holding on to even in our own life or in the world too? I'd ask the world the same question. What is the world holding on for dear life to that really we've outgrown, right? Which, the whole world is holding on for dear life to something we've outgrown, right? Prejudice, right? Fears of, us and them, all that stuff. We know that. And even not every single person knows it, but even kind of every single person knows that. Babies know that, right? Babies aren't prejudiced, right? They're just, they don't know the difference until they get taught. So what needs to be left behind in your own life? What are you afraid to lose that maybe is time to lose and be refreshed by, to let yourself have a new experience? And, as an astrologer too, because I'm a lifelong astrologer, I love birthdays because every single year is your new year personally, right? So happy birthday, Sagittarius. And it's your new year, which means it's your day, literally your day at a restart. It's a restart for you. So it's such a time to think of like how you can make this so conscious, to make this a new beginning, to start in this fresh way towards this big change that's happening around the world that is a long pregnancy. It's been 3 years already, and it's another 2, kind of 1.5 more. It's been 7 years in total because it started before 3 years ago, but 3 years ago it came in hard, and it's increasing and increasing in intensity, just like it does in pregnancy, getting more and more uncomfortable, right? Because something new is to be born. So we get to work with that energy. So what are we afraid to lose? What are we holding on for dear life to? That, I have clothes. This is embarrassing, but this is really true. I have clothes that I wear from when I was 14. So do I need that? But it's my favorite. I just have things like that. We get sentimental, or we just like it, or that's not a great example because it's more serious than that. Like, what are we afraid to lose? What could be taken away that, and the other thing about birthdays that I like, and astrological perspective and spiritual perspective, is that it doesn't matter what age you are. So I've never feared aging. Do you know what I mean? Because it's another spiral on the wheel. So what is this year bringing? What is this year about for you? So you could be 15 or 55 or 95, and it doesn't make any difference, because still it's another opportunity to understand yourself even more and more deeply. And so aging changes. Can you feel that? And literally changes how you age, but it also changes how you feel about that whole subject, that a lot of people go, oh my God, I'm this many years old now. I've got this many left, maybe, if I'm lucky. It ends up being very heavy, the birthdays, sometimes for some people, but not to me. And I think that is a joy in it, that you can recapture that, remembering when you were a child how much you wanted to get older. And now you are, right? And that can you have the same thrill, the same joy about the age that you are, right? So even, we hold on to dear life, to our life. We all, you know what I mean? It's like it all becomes so precious when we are infinite consciousness that's ever expanding. And so that changes even what death is. Birth, death, So that was the question that I want you to think about a little bit even while I'm talking, like what needs to be, I kind of said needs rather than could be, what needs to be left behind or be done with. And then what, or another way to say it is, what are you afraid to lose? Because it's kind of a fear, probably, like another year, I'm another year old. And what is time to let go of that fear, that thought, that thing, whatever it be? Can it be very exciting to let that thing go, to let the new thing come in? And you don't know what the new thing is. You don't know, because it remains to be seen. And you can't let the new thing come in until you let the old thing go. So that's a thing, that's a thought, right? I told my clients that are in a relationship and they are waiting to meet somebody they really, really love, but they want to stay in the one that they're in. And I always say, you can't do that. It just doesn't work. Because even if you did meet someone from inside the other relationship waiting for the better one to come, it's going to be messed up. It's not going to be a clean, clear energy. It's going to be, you're going to bring all that energy and stick it into the new one, right? So you kind of do have to cut it loose, whatever that old energy might be. So that's part of, and because of this full moon energy, there's an opportunity for real insight here. And I want to say the word fear again. What do you fear losing? Because that's probably the answer. Or it's connected to the answer. Like there's an answer within what, not that, And so all the energy of the universe aims at that. Can we realize, can we know, can we admit what it is that we're afraid to lose, and to just let it be, like not, and in that losing, there's a gaining. So another year goes by and it's your birthday, you lose that year, right? You're in a new year. And it depends on how you look at it, whether it's miserable or joyful. At any age. I really want to remind you of that, at any age. Kids know this, not a question to them. But and as soon as we're getting, 30 is the big cutoff. And I remember that to all my friends when, we were in our 20s talking about 30, And of course, that's the second Saturn return, which is about growing up and coming into power and coming into your responsibilities. People have families, people get jobs, can't live at home anymore easily. You have to go out there and, get tested. And another metaphor for that is like, about change is when we're in school, even like when we're going from grade to grade, before we can go to the next grade, we're tested. We take all these tests, right, to find out, can we get to the next level? And isn't that just like life in a way? We're tested, but it's not because we're being punished. It's about strengthening the muscles, strengthening our awarenesses, understanding what we understand, knowing what we know, right, as by heart, at each level along the way. And that keeps continuing till we are in another plane, and then it keeps continuing there too. It's not over there either. So there's always an expansion of consciousness from any place that we're standing in the universe. One other thing I want to show, I just thought this image was perfect for tonight. This is Joseph Campbell's concept. So many people know this. There's a lot more to this than what is on this particular chart. But the thing that I wanted to show, which is sort of the point, when I was saying we're in the middle of something, that means we're here. We're on the road, right? Going all the way around back home again. And of course, home is completely different when we come back. But at the nadir, right? At the base, it feels like we are so far away from home. We're not even close. And we can't even imagine how to get back. At this place, we are the farthest. This is when the dragons come. This is when we're tested to the Nth degree. It actually gets easier as you start to go up. But at this point, as you've come away from home, you start here, you meet your teachers, your mentors along the way, all along the way, by the way, all the way even at the end. There's mentors that come at certain stages along the way, our experiences, right, that happen to the world, because this can be applied to any subject, to the world or to us personally. And so the world is on a hero's journey in our 250-year Pluto cycle that just happened last year. Now it's Neptune closing. We're here at this place that seems like there's no hope in sight. But that's not true. It just seems like that at that point, because you have to hit it somewhere. And then you venture out again, scared and shivering and shaking, as you start to go back up that arc way to have, met your shadow, fought those demons inside ourselves, or in I keep wanting to say, and the world's doing the same thing, fight our shadow and fight our demons in ourselves, right? That the world is going through this. We're all going through this together. That's why I'm showing you that image. It's not just about us. It's each one of us. It's about the whole planet. We're on a hero's journey to get back. So it can seem very far away from home at the moment, but it's just the placement of the place that we must be at that testing time. And that word that I used, endurance. This is not the time to stop. This is not the time to give up. You can't go back anyway. If you see that chart, there's no way when you're here to go this way. There is no way. Plus you couldn't. You have to go this way. What's the next step? Transformation, right? And transformation just means change, right? Change. So the world is trying to change. We're trying to change. It's trying to change. The whole thing is changing. And we get to be here during this very important time in human history. Think of that. In thousands of years, there's been other times like this, but not for thousands of years, not like this. So personally, how can you work with this energy for yourself? What are you afraid to let go of? And maybe just consider the idea of what would it be to even be able to let that go too. I gave the example, I think it was in my meditation class last time, of the Dalai Lama, who was the whole Tibetan culture of the religious Tibetans were kicked out of Tibet, right? And they went to India and they built a little world there in India, but they're Tibetan, right? But you'll never hear the Dalai Lama say a bad thing about how that all happened. You have to stand where you are and keep the vision of the thing that you're healing, like he is holding for our planet, and he's also holding for the whole Tibetan culture, that it's not going to be tomorrow. But he never loses sight of where he's going, right? And he doesn't waste his energy blaming, why did this happen to us, right? And from that happening to them, he came from that. He has birthed into the world leader, world consciousness holder that he is, that he holds that space, even if he didn't know who he was, which I know all of you do, but not everybody knows who he is, but he's still holding for the whole planet. And we can hold for the whole planet too. We can, and we get to, and it is a privilege, but it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch when you're seeing things that are, offensive, atrocious, horrific, or whatever we're perceiving, like a war has in it, right? To stand there, sentry angel, and hold for the higher good, no matter what you see. And then internally, can we do that for ourselves, because it's just as hard actually to hold for the shadow of ourself and the parts that we deny and that we cannot abide in ourselves or ever forgive ourselves for, because it was so terrible what we've done. You know, wherever those things are where the shame lives. To me, shame is the lock to the prison, right? It's like, oh, you deserve that, and there you stay forevermore. But that's a construct of mind, not a reality of energy. That can change just like that, because the key is on around your neck on a chain. You can just take it off and open the door. But you have to forgive yourself, right? So these are the kind of the concepts about in this full moon. So I think from at that point we'll go into it now. So I'm gonna take my candle, and you can light yours if you have one, or use mine as yours. It's symbolic of a point of consciousness within the self and a point of focused attention, right? And that's the only reason it's here. But these rituals have power and meaning, and it's good to remember that they have an effect. Out of matches, what is that? Yeah. And they hold the center of this meditation, of this point of focus. And it's an intention. And remember, the first thing I said at the beginning is, what do you want to get out? What do you want to get out of this tonight? And maybe some of it has already come up for you. Some of the answers to that is in your intention. You call it from me, because I am intuitive. So I am feeling all of you, right? So it comes through me, the words that come. I have a couple thoughts written down about crossroads and endurance, and I have those things I would say. But what I say comes from you, from what you're asking within. And when you do that with more intention, then my answer can be even more clarifying, or our answer, or the answer you get in your meditation, right? So let's do it. So make yourself comfortable. And be at ease. Let yourself slow down. Let yourself slow down from whatever you've been doing today. And the energy is very high right now. So it takes some presence and some intention to consciously slow down when the speed of things is so fast right now. At the time of year that in nature things slow down, we're faster than ever. You know, you gotta get Christmas presents, you gotta go Hanukkah shopping, you have to watch the news and find out what new thing happened today, or what 5 new things happened today, and and be terrorized by the news, that's happening fast, because you know why? It gets you off your center, right? So the more shock, the more division, the more separation, the more chaos, the more even conscious people, conscious souls, conscious meditators can get thrown off course. All the more reason to not get thrown off course. No matter what's happening, no matter what you see, no matter what you know. I've been saying that every month, right? No matter what you hear, you hold for the highest good. So as you enter that space and you sort of drop in and slow down, and breath by breath, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your neck, relaxing your jaw, relaxing your eyes, relaxing your brain into the spaciousness, I'm going to use the count-in. I haven't used that for a while, and it's my favorite. I developed this a couple years ago. And I just love this way of entering the meditation. So here we go. Archetypal thoughts. Star, sky, earth, ocean, land, mountain, tree, all beings, self, soul, Om. I'm going to do it one more time. Deeper this time now. Star, sky, earth, ocean, land, mountain, tree, all beings, self, soul, Om. Cross the threshold. Enter the spaciousness of your awareness. What's ready to release? What have you been afraid to lose? What needs to be left behind for the new birth, for the new day, for the birthday of this next step? Being prepared for lightning flashes of insight now. Real understanding, surprise. How easy it is to not be attached when you remember to not be attached. How easy it is. What is ready to be released so that something new can be born. Take that into the silence now. I want to know. in a sense, turn around and face what you're holding on to so hard. A belief, a fear, so doesn't match you any longer, and it hasn't for such a long time. And you see yourself offering it, the thought, the thing, the concept, the belief, the fear, whatever it is, or whatever all those things might be. And just offer it to the universe, offer it to light, and let it be transmuted. Return to love, return to light. Because this fear, this thing, this thought is stopping you in some way from renewal, rebirth, next step. And whatever this was for you or is for you, as you realize what it is in this flash of understanding, perhaps, just let it burst into light. Let it be transmuted into just pure energy, giving you energy. And we've been dragging that thing behind us for a long time now. You can let it go. And you see light now everywhere. Feel the light all around you. Sense the light all within you. Light to light. Light to light recognition. I remember who I am. I'm here at exactly the right time on this planet. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Knowing that, as a matter of fact, and you see the whole planet doing some version of this too. As it comes to peace with itself, eventually, and the new birth that is happening. And see the planet symbolically releasing something too. That it's ready to let go of. as the planet Earth takes its next step as well, just like we are. And humanity takes its next step as well. And see the world at peace in your mind's eye, and every being on it. Peace to all beings. Om. Peace in myself. Om. Peace to all beings. Peace in my heart. I cannot ask the world or anyone to do something I am not willing to do myself. Peace in my mind. All peace to all beings. Cultivating peace as an action of will, not giving up, holding for everyone by holding for yourself. That endurance when we're in the middle of something that requires even more concentration. Peace in our world. Peace. Peace. Om. So even though we're at the crossroads, because we are at the crossroads, right? We get to do this. To pay that heightened attention. To not look away. To not live in fear. To remember who we are. Individually, collectively. To feel the light that we emanate. And all the light that's around us. And be grateful that we get to be here now, like this, just like this, just like it is. That's a thought. When you're ready to, letting your breath get deeper and fuller. Until it starts to feel natural. To begin to transition out of this meditation when you're ready to. Take in your time. Always have your notebook around when you're doing meditations to write notes to yourself or thoughts that come up. Yeah. You know, because this stuff, it's like snow. It kind of melts, right, really fast when the heat comes, when the mind turns back on, right? And to write it down while it's in that becoming state is, there's so much wisdom in there, in you. If you can hear it, if you can listen, and then write it down. Keep it, you know, so you don't lose it, because it gets caught in the next moment, and pretty soon we're busy again, you know. Stop. Pause. Right? Save it. Savor it. Yeah, good. So, good work. Good meditation. Good peacemaking. Yeah. So, solstice is coming, December 19th. The next full moon is, get this, January 2nd. So that's kind of cool. So it'll be right after New Year's. So that's a Friday. And yeah, so the next thing that'll be happening is the solstice, which I really hope you come to. It's really special. And thank you for being here tonight. I always love to hear from you and insights that you might be having. Look for this up on YouTube tomorrow and SoundCloud. It's exact at 3:14 tomorrow, so you can touch it again in your meditation. And I really appreciate you all being here. I'll talk to you soon.